The cabinet was locked. There was
Now let
nothing
this
very
be
useful in my
let
bag.
this be
It was the
information to you,
single
Burkball.
handle.
Before you start any point in the adventure game, check your handbag. You never know what you might find. I'm just saying this to you directly, as you know,
The key
woman.
unlocked the
You know,
case.
you should just something that we all need to keep into account.
Always check the handbag. It's something I forget to do regularly, to be
I
fair.
locked the case again
Oh,
and
same
slipped
here.
the
Like
key
it's
under
just
it.
you just become so commonplace with it.
It was
Like,
an
there's definitely a
obsidian
banana
dagger,
from like 6
thin
months in
and
it.
razor
The
sharp.
bottom.
No, that's like they're the big ma'am handbags where they're not even real handbags. They're pocket dimensions. You know,
The key
like it
didn't
physically
fit
doesn't
in
make
Mary
the
sense.
lock.
Poppins had nothing on them.
Yeah, exactly. Like like fucking amateur hour that was. So now we're going to be using
The doors were securely
this
locked.
priceless Mayan artifact. Makes for a fantastic lockpick as well.
I levered the handle open with the thin
I
dagger.
mean, needs must.
Absolutely. And away she goes. And where she
Me.
ends up, we never know.
The room had been decorated.
We're back
to
with
And
resemble
George.
the
Back to click
interior of a
thing.
sailing ship. It was
we're back in
distinctly
George in his
uplifting.
pirate-themed Airbnb.
I mean, that's definitely a thing.
Oh, God's it. Oh, absolutely. I mean, like there's a Hogwarts like Airbnb as well, and it
It
costs
was a
like a fucking
neat
arm and a
oil
leg.
lantern made of
You know?
Yeah.
brass. It was a
You showed
beautifully
me it.
crafted model of a sailing ship.
Kira asked me, how do you
It
know
was
about the
an
Hogwarts
old
thing? You
book
showed me it.
with spidery writing covering the open pages.
I drink and I know things. I know it's different. I know that's a different genre, but
I'm
I don't care.
sure there is a
Holding
Game
that
of
lantern,
Thrones
I felt kind of
Airbnb
biblical.
somewhere as well.
Like
Probably in
Oh,
Belfast.
I can only imagine.
no,
I can imagine
Florence
some dirty,
Nightingale.
weird things happening as well. As in keeping with the show.
Mm-hmm.
The ship looked too fragile to
But yes,
touch.
this is the I suppose
Marched away,
faithfully maintained
1617 fix.
lodgings of Edward Ketch that we were
Gauged frigate
well
off
supposedly going to
McFadden's
see in
Foundry.
pirate
It
hotel
was
form,
garbage.
but
Huh.
obviously
I
it's
guess being a
still looks
pirate didn't
quite
require
nice.
too many academic
In terms of
qualifications. The
don't know
passage
how many
log
guests
described
these
how
people would
Ketch
have,
had got
but
really
it doesn't look
approaching a few
particularly
English. It
disturbed.
seemed
So
the new governor had not shared his predecessor's
Yeah,
views
they've got a
on
low
Ketch's
rating on
activities. They
Airbnb.
were out for his blood. Sailed to that place
Goth
where I
scraped
might
by
secure
cat.
my fortune.
Old woman was
I
angry.
returned safe
1
in the
star.
knowledge that the governor shall not discover that which I had hidden.
Kept
Food was
Though it
nice.
did
making
not
ignorant
recant,
comments about
'tis easier
natives.
for a camel
1
to
star.
pass to the eye of a needle.
Exactly. Was too posh for me to understand. 1 star.
It was an actual pirate
Voted
ship
Brexit,
chart.
yet lives off the outside of Britain. 1
The
star.
top surface of the desk had a large recessed area set into it. I guessed it was intended to stop things rolling off in heavy seas. There was also an inkwell, and a few inches away, a small hole with a feather placed in it.
Okay,
That
we're
seems
gonna
like a
write a
very
letter.
yeah. So
It was
that's
an
a very
indented
detailed
well in
desk.
the
More on
corner of
that
the
story
desk.
as we get it.
I guess it was intended to hold ink, but it seemed unnecessarily wide. Maybe Ketch had used it to hold his rum bottles steady in heavy seas.
Mmm.
It was one of those old pens made out of a feather.
What are the chances he's gonna
That might
use
come
that
in
feather
useful
later on to
in
tickle someone?
ticklish situations.
It looks like you and George went to that same
It
conclusion
was
there, which is
Ketch's sea chest.
concerning.
Its
I'll be
battered
honest,
appearance
but
hinted at salty
Oh
we'll
no, have I been
metallic
watching this
creatures
game too long?
swashbuckling.
no, you've just been
Marks
found
of
out, Burke. Bro.
sail
That's what's
on one
happened there.
side of a mutinous crew, hard tack
You've
and
been exposed to the
scurvy.
internet for
And
time
his
immemorial.
chest, full to the brim with Ketch's loot, pearls, diamonds, emeralds, and doubloons. On the other hand, it could have been full of spare blankets.
Because famously, chests don't contain anything beyond them. It's either treasure or bedding supplies. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, I've had my hands on an historical document. Now what?
I actually found a time capsule which was in the shape of a
It
treasure
was an
chest
old
Oh.
wooden
from
barrel.
when I was a kid,
Maybe
and
it was from
I very
Ketch's ship.
easily, as an adult, broke it open because I did not no longer have the key to it, but it was just very cheap 90s plastic, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
And
I
guess
should have
what?
known better than to put my hand in there.
7-year-old Bert Boss
Grandma
thought would
Stobart
be
had a
really good
nasty
treasure.
experience in a water butt once.
Jellies, probably.
Oh no,
A Game Boy Color game.
no. A packet of polos.
Maybe that wheel was from Ketch's ship.
Okay.
And if you
Suddenly,
remember,
I
polos
was
didn't
12
always have
years
mint
old
ones.
again.
There was like a fruit polo
Fruit
packet.
polos. Yeah, I remember the fruit polos. Yeah.
Yeah, fruit polos. Um,
Captain
some
Stobart.
Spanish pesos that
Okay.
obviously I'd had on holidays and decided they looked like
They were the ones that looked like polos. They had a little
they
hole.
also look like polos, yes.
So
And
pesos
a
and
note
polos so far is what I'm hearing.
and a note from my granddad saying I owe you £5. It was already in euros at this stage. By the last time I had that safe
It
open,
was a
I
shiny,
definitely
very
had a
sharp
note. Like we were
pirate's
definitely in the
compass.
eurozone anyway.
Now, do you still
It would
have
been
that
easy to
note?
reach
Because
the
I imagine
compass
that's
and
accrued
slip
quite a
another.
lot of interest at
It
this
could also have
point.
been the most regrettable action of my life.
I mean, like he's unavailable at the
It
minute.
was a
Like
ship's
he's
bell.
Yeah.
60 under unavailable. So
Wasn't, yeah, okay. Well, that complicates matters a little bit.
And all's well.
I mean, I
Pirates
can
were
always
cruel.
try.
That's what Ouija boards are for, Bert, but you know,
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
old debts.
And he
Have you
pays
got
me
that
in
fiver you
pesos,
owe
I swear
me?
to God.
Nope.
Oh, what the hell?
It's a child.
It's such that what? You know they're a
Yes.
child because they're in dungarees.
Yes. That's the only way you could tell.
What the? Who are you?
What the
I'm
fuck?
Emily.
What were you doing in there, Emily?
Of all the
Hi.
things I was expecting to
you
be in
doing?
there, what the
Grown-up
fuck?
stuff.
I know.
Grown-ups. Pff, I'm never gonna grow up.
So this is Emily. This is
Shouldn't
the
be
girl
here.
that
What's your name?
the
I'm
Brexiteers
George.
have been protecting from the
Pleased to
native
meet you,
Rio.
Jules.
George.
Yes.
Jules.
I know, like, they
Jeez.
mentioned her,
You
but they
mind up?
never mentioned, like,
What
this
can
is a
you tell me
good plot
about
twist
Captain
that
Ketch?
the
Yeah.
child
That's him on the
is
wall in the picture.
a
Yeah, I
pirate
know.
aficionado
Scary
living in
guy,
a
huh?
treasure
He was
chest.
my great
Yeah.
great great great
She's,
grandfather.
that's how they've been protecting her from
Yeah.
from the outside world by literally locking her into the box
Why don't
every
you go
night.
play with Rio?
I'm not allowed.
Literally a
How come?
chastity chest.
Frost says I'm not allowed out of the house.
So,
That's
Mina,
why.
do you
They
think we should
moved
get
me.
Emily a new
Bad.
box? She's starting to grow a little bit. No,
Why don't
we
you
shall
ask
not.
your other aunt if you can play with Rio?
Aunt Mina's cuckoo. Aunt Frost says so. She says when the Lord handed out common sense, Aunt Mina was off getting double portions of chin.
That
That's
Rio's
an
a
insult.
smart kid. He helped me outwit Bronson.
Rio is clever.
Again,
He can spin
typical
ever
for
so far.
family relatives to be catching strays like that.
I bet you can't keep this piece of coal in your mouth for the next half hour.
Could too. I could keep it in my mouth for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah? Go on then. Prove it.
Don't want to. And if you try to make me, I'll tell Aunt Mina.
You win this round, child.
Look, an ancient Mayan stone.
Is that a magic stone?
Well, I don't know about that.
No.
Why would she hold the
That
piece of
cross
coal in
over
her
there,
mouth? I'm
Mike.
just like,
It's my
why
lucky
is that his
Jesus
go-to?
cross.
Here, hold
It's
this in your
just
mouth.
like the one Captain Ketch
It's
wore.
to stop her talking, I assume.
Can I borrow
I
it?
get that, but like, lock her back in the chest.
Yeah, just pick her up and put her back in.
You might need that
Come
important
on,
piece
I'll
of coal,
follow the
George.
catch.
That's
That
dangerous.
is true. It's
Start
coming.
your
It's
secret.
given us quite a few avenues into the
Do you
weird
know
and
how to
wonderful
use the
world.
theodolite?
We don't learn anything about surveying at my school. Not until 5th grade.
What would you trade for that cross, Emily?
A puppy.
Well, I don't happen to
Would you
have a
would you
puppy
accept the
in my
tequila
pocket
worm
right
slightly
now.
used?
Can you think of anything else you'd trade?
Don't know.
So
Do we have to go find a puppy?
yes, we're gonna try and find a puppy.
Cute little nose. And the
Just
eyes of a
wander
cute
around here
little
on this
cat.
Caribbean island.
Around her neck was a large cross on a chain. It was identical to the one in the portrait of Captain Ketch.
So our puzzle here is that Emily has Ketch's cross. Now the fact that there's a few kind of kind of implications here with the with the wider world. And basically, we want to try and see if Ketch has like hid his treasure somewhere, essentially. Because we're working on the conceit that pirates have hid the treasure somewhere. You know, also working on the conceit that pirates somehow treasure. You know, so so there's a few leaps in logic here on this one, but yes, that's where George is working on it at the minute.
Right, okay. So I'm thinking like for a cross, is that going to actually be a key
What do you
to
give
open
to a
up something?
small, irritating girl
You are in the right ballpark. Because like I said, George has found it interesting that the cross is part of Ketch's actual official portrait. Because if it's something like that, it wouldn't necessarily be just like it. So they're obviously drawing attention to the fact that this cross is kind of crucial to his being. So
Yeah.
you're in the right ballpark, certainly. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're asking for Rio for tips here on how to dupe a 12-year-old girl.
Not dodgy at all, George.
Nope.
All I have is a fishing pole and a worm.
What do you need to catch a tigerfish?
One of them real fancy flies like the rich fishermen use.
Mm-hmm.
Any use for a quill?
What's a quill?
It's what people used to write with in Captain Ketch's days.
No, I'd sooner be fishing.
So Rio's issue here is that he's only able to catch certain like low quality fish, I would say. Again, he's only got
an old rod. He needs a good rod.
So what we need to do is we need to try and improve his situation with a good rod. And the whole arrangement is that we can try. We're trying to have like an equivalent gift for Emily to trade across with. So you know, if we have something nice, like say a conch shell, that could work maybe. You know, hear the sun, hear the sea, and all that jazz. So here's what we're going to do.
The cat made short work of the feather, tearing it into a blizzard of small pieces.
Nope, that's exactly what we want.
Oh.
Because the quill, now that it's been shredded, now that all the feathers have scattered off the stalk of the quill,
had been mutilated by the cat, leaving shredded feather on the grass.
Because if you know anything about your fishers, your flies, is that they're all made of thread and fabric.
Yeah.
Had been torn into small pieces.
So basically, Rio's kind of thing here.
Catch all the tentacle and Goldine he'll ever want now.
Well, hopefully, like this is more like this will be more like into slowpoke kind of remoraid territory, you know.
I don't know.
Maybe a
what you mean by
whalebird if
that.
you're looking.
I won't respond to it. Remoraid doesn't
This
exist.
is just what you need to make a
It never happened.
Thanks. Let's hope them tigerfish hungry. A deal's a deal. Here's a conch.
Well,
There
hey.
you go. So now the plan is that we can try and trade the cross for that conch shell.
It was the conch shell that Rio had given me.
I mean, if this child wants a puppy and settles for a shell, that's a stupid child.
I don't know if it's come across so far in the game, but she's a bit sheltered. Like, you know, any child that goes into a treasure chest by choice, maybe not quite the intellectual level you're expecting here, you know.
Fair. Yeah, there she is, still dancing in the corner. No music.
Yep, easily amused by our own antics.
Why don't you run along and play?
Aunt Mina told me, stay out of mischief.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors, does it? On a beautiful day like today?
There's a storm coming.
Oh, nuts. You don't know that.
I do so. I can see the whole world from the window.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm
It's not the
busy.
first time a storm's been mentioned, so interesting.
Yes.
Here, I've got a conch. Would you like it?
Dunno. Aunt Frost told me never to take presents from strange men.
I'm not a strange man.
Then why are you called Jaws? Jaws? That's a stupid name.
I'm not called...
I mean, while that is good advice most of the time, we are.
Right. This
We
thing
do have. We
is
need to get a bit of a move on here.
Okay, we'll do swapses.
And now we have the cross.
Okay.
Now, let's see.
Ketch's
Let's see how this
crucifix
works for
was
you.
encrusted with precious gems.
I feel like this is going to open up the desk.
The desk is the correct answer to a certain degree. So there's a few elements that we're missing
Sailed
here.
to that place where I made
So-
secure my fortune. I
So you
returned
remember that
sad with knowledge
George kind
the
of
governor
noticed
shall
that the
not
inkwell
bestow
looked a
that
bit
which I
too
have
big
hidden.
to be an inkwell.
For is it not writ
Yeah.
that 'tis
Mm.
easier
Some
for
sort
a
of dial or
camel to
something.
pass through the eye of a
Yes. Well, this is the fun bit. So we
Okay.
have a map, and there's a recess in the desk for the map itself.
needle? Okay. I've had my hands on an historical document. Now what?
So that's the first bit. As it were, the easy bit.
The chart fitted exactly into the recess on the top of the desk.
What you doing, Jaws?
I'm putting this old map on the desk
What you doing that for, Jaws?
because it was obviously intended to fit in this recessed area.
How'd you work that out?
It's obvious.
It's like I'm in a video game. That's how this shit works. I don't know how
Show me
clear
work.
I can be about this.
No point if you don't show your work, Jaws.
That's how it works. So now the next bit is, does a lantern fit in the inkwell?
The lantern fitted so precisely in the inkwell, it could only be deliberate.
So that's the
What you
second
doing now,
stage.
Jaws?
Knock it off, will ya? There's something you ought to know. I don't buy cute or lost puppy. I've put
Okay.
the lantern in the inkwell. See? It fits.
Why?
Because it was cut to fit.
Why?
Because
God, she's
sneaky
so
old
annoying.
Captain Ketch
Mhm.
made it that way.
Why?
What is with all the questions?
'Cause I'm interested.
Why?
'Cause I have the insatiable curiosity of the young.
Why?
All right. Truth.
Checkmate. Annoying child. And now the final piece of the puzzle, the pen holder.
Ketch's cross slipped snugly into the pen holder.
What you doing now?
Mhm.
Grown-up stuff.
I doubt that.
I've put your cross in this little hole in the desk.
Why?
Impulse mainly, with a dash of irrational intuition.
George has just described Pointing Adventures in one sentence.
The lantern cast a strong light over the desktop. The light cast a shadow of the cross. And the shadow
Oh,
fell
the shadow
precisely
thing.
over a
X marks the
small,
spot.
unnamed island,
Indeed.
shaped like a skull.
I mean, to come up with this as an idea of using your map and stuff, like, where? Oh, I suppose they did have a lot of time when they were lost out at sea and stuff, so I suppose it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Uh-oh.
But these
That's
kind of
zombie
ideas
island.
of getting maps
It's
to
a
work,
bad
not
place.
just by reading the map,
Kidding?
but by having
Well, bad place or not, that's
Like,
my next
accoutrement
Can I come too?
added to
The hell
this,
you can.
like, I mean, it's impressive.
I never
I'm
get
impressed.
to leave the house.
Yeah, I mean, like again, there's always that kind of like that adventure-y kind of, or the
There were several
the
things I
cliche
wanted
of
to
like
say to
pirates
Thoughtful Kid,
like hiding the treasure and finding
but
creative
I
ways
held
of
my
doing
tongue.
so. So like, you can kind of presume that like if you have something that is like specifically for them, like say their writing desk or something, or a cross that is like full of fabulous jewels. So like, there's a certain intuition there. So like, these are things that they would have used on a regular basis, But they're also things that are a lot more crucial to their operation than we are. Like we can give or take a table or a desk, kind of way. Whereas like that's kind of like they need that because they're on a fucking ship and they're not gonna be able to write shit down otherwise unless they use like some poor fucking
Would
yeoman's
you
back
take
to
me
do so.
to, Zombie Island?
In this weather?
And then that's not very long
The rain
lasting
will
if you
keep
write
the
on someone's
zombies
back.
indoors.
No, I don't think so. That
Whatever
would be a
makes
quite
it
short
so,
capsule.
like,
I did meet the
skincare,
zombie.
but like,
What
Yeah.
would you do?
The
Like,
UV
UV does damage.
Zombie Island.
It does, exactly.
It's uninhabited.
And again, at this point, pirates are still like
Not anymore.
dying because of the lack of vitamins, let alone
guess.
fucking UV
Well,
radiation.
I ain't had no luck with them